wanna hear from Lester and Leslie. Let's talk. We're on a journey, come along with me. Let's talk. We're bringing a new perspective. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk with Lester and Leslie.
Welcome to another riveting episode of Let's Talk with your hosts, Lester J.
And Leslie.
Period. Leslie BB.
Yes, Leslie BB.
Yes. BB.
Yeah. Don't body shame.
just to be perfectly clear, we had a little bit of weed before we started this episode. So we're a little toasted. At least I am. I don't know. How do you feel, Leslie?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Toasty?
Yeah. Pretty warm here.
Not
really. It's cold in my house. But yeah.
It is a little chilly in here, but are your insides warm from the marijuana?
Yeah, I'm good.
We endorse and we fully support marijuana on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legalize marijuana federally. Anyways, what's going on with you, Les?
There was, three things that stuck out to me since the last time that we recorded. Mm-hmm. And there obviously some past things happening with my ex around this time of the year, like a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having some issues like task paralysis, and I looked up the definition for that. And then,
would you care to share the definition?
Well, yeah, when we get into it. But let me share up the third thing that I did this week was I went to go to a cat cafe. That was at a cat adoption site.
What?
Yeah, I forgot to mention.
Oh, like literal cat cafe?
Yeah, there's you can buy like little waters or whatever, and then you can pet the cats. And it's like a really cute little nursery looking area with these kitties and like little toys and things.
What?
Yeah.
Where is that at?
It was in Roselle.
Okay. What's that, west suburb?
Yeah, it was northwest.
Oh, wow.
Suburbs. Yeah. I think it's called Cat Heaven.
Why did my mind immediately go to a warm cup of coffee in a yellow cup? Why did I... When you said cat cafe, that's...
You're thinking like a commercial for like a drink?
Right. I thought it was a
cat
literal
cafe.
Tea and coffee cafe that just wanted a cute name. You're talking about a literal cafe of cats that you could just visit and pet?
Yeah. Yeah. It was nice.
Was it expensive?
It was $12.
Oh, wow.
But you have to they limit the time that you're in there and the amount of people that are in there. So they keep it to a small number. Mm-hmm. And you're in there for like 45 minutes. But most of the money goes to for them to be able to adopt out and rescue kitties.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. So this was at the Humane Society, you said?
No, this was at... Hold on, let me get the details correct here.
Was it affiliated? Why did I feel like you said Humane Society?
Because I think I might have said the word humane at one point. But
ADHD.
It's something like that. Yeah. See, now that goes back into hold on, let me find the name of this cat cafe that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
It is called.
So the type of cafe is cat.
Yeah.
I don't want a coffee or a tea today. I want to pet some cats.
It's called the Cat House. Pretty much at the Cat House Cafe. And it is in Roselle, Illinois. And it's super cute.
Who were you with? You said you...
I went with one of my friends, Jen. She's the one I go to concerts with a lot.
Okay.
she actually found that place and suggested it. So that was nice. But yeah, like, just had a little episode of the ADHD, I guess. Now that I'm finding things out about myself and what I've been going through, the most that's been sticking out in front of my head was like the task paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the more educated term for it is ADHD paralysis. And I got the definition from ADD.org, which
right from the horse's mouth.
I guess so. And it also has cited articles on it too. I didn't really dig into the cited articles because there's so much time, but I should do diligence and look at those cited articles also, because there are outlets that give you information, and even though there are sites, sometimes the information that is cited isn't the best.
Right.
So
algorithms.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's better due diligence, because a lot of times there are special interests that goes into sharing certain types of information. So like I said, it's best to due diligence to, if they are there, check those sites, and then to, pin check the information that is connected to those sites to see like, okay, you're not just citing it just to make it look like you're citing something. So it's just the due diligence to fact check on these things that actually have to do with mental health and things that only a certain specialized set of people have actual knowledge about.
Right.
So the definition of ADHD paralysis, according to ADD.org, is ADHD paralysis, happens when a person with ADHD is overwhelmed by information, emotions, or their environment. And as a result, they freeze and can't function effectively. And it also says that ADHD paralysis is not a medical diagnosis, but a symptom of ADHD. And for many people, it is a frustrating problem. Yes, it is a frustrating problem for me because there are, for right now, like I feel like at some points that I can experience burnout, but I don't know if it's burnout because of the things that I like. And maybe it's just, I just have too much to do squeezed into 24 hours. And I end up wasting the time that I could get a jump ahead on some things. Just because I'm locked in some type of daydream trying to figure out the logistics on how to approach each thing that I have, because I'm very organized, especially with work. But there's a lot of projects that I don't start, or that I start but don't finish because there's other priorities, and they get in the original projects that I want to finish get put on the back burner. And then I'm like, okay, I have so many things that are important on the list, especially when it comes down to like budgeting and time commitments. And so I have A, B, and C to do. Great. I got it down to 3 things, but now it's like, what do I do first? And when do I do it? And what order should I do it in? And I'm going through all the combinations of doing these things logistically in my brain. And next thing you know, it's 8:00. So I'm having issues with that a lot right now because of the fact that I have so many commitments that are going on at the same time that require me to be at certain places at the same time. And I have to account for so many things, and my brain just goes into overthink, and I just zone out, and then I end up scrolling.
Doom scrolling?
All the time, actually. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it probably does have an addiction about being on the phones. Phone addiction is a thing. And I think that it's like, if I find myself picking it up without getting a notification for things, and it's just,
Does your phone do that thing where it tells you at the end of the week how many hours a day that you consume?
Yes, that is so shameful.
You have been on your phone 17 hours a day average.
And I'm just like,
when do I sleep?
Right? And I'm like, okay, maybe it's counting the time where I just have like a podcast going.
I'm almost certain that's the truth because I listen to music at night myself. That's why my thing almost shows 24 hours.
That's freaking scary though.
Well, it's not 24 because, I work.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, seeing those high numbers of like that much of your day is spent with this thing on.
Right. That's right.
That's crazy to me. So
it is, but that was I feel like that was the intention of the phone in the first place was they want to create something that encompassed as much of your life as it can in one little device. Like we just mentioned, this is the radio. This is the news. This is social media and your connection to people and community. This is mail. This is Bills. Finance. Yeah. All of those things in one. So, to have a good amount of time on it, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, but it's so much time.
Yeah, it feels bad.
It does.
When the phone tells you on Sunday that you've averaged.
Grocery shop on there. Like, it's more shaming than when I see it's more shaming. It's more shaming than it is when I see like my financial outbreak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about you, but I get a statement that has like what I spent my money on, like as far as like entertainment, groceries, eating out.
Is that coming directly from your bank?
Yeah, that's the function from my bank.
Oh, okay.
But like,
what bank do you have?
A non-disclosed one.
I was gonna say, so I have, and I think I turned those notifications off. Every time I sign into the app, it tells me, you've gotten this amount of money in, and you spent, or it's funny, it at its own discretion will tell me how much money has gotten in so far for the month, or how much I, spent for the month. And I'm just like, I don't want to know any of this. I don't want to know none of it. That's why. So that's the. I was asking because I was wondering if it was the same bank as mine.
No.
Anyways, go ahead.
So yeah, that's one thing that's been going on with me. But we can get into that later. What's been going on with you? What are 3 things?
Well, what's 3 things? Earlier last week, since the last time we shot, which was a week ago, oh my God, it feels like, so I could completely relate to the ADHD paralysis. They need to find a cure for it because it is very frustrating for like a week to go by and, you had this long to-do list that you maybe knocked out a few things, probably by force, but then like the other stuff is just like sitting there and collecting dust and piling on. But I say that to say it's been a lot that's happened since last week. Even before we shot the first podcast, we had that get together at my house, which I don't let anybody in. I opened up my doors. I've lived there 5 years now.
You moved in 2020?
Actually, it's going on 6 years. I moved in 2019. Yeah, a year before COVID.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You moved into an apartment.
Because I was living in all that time. I had 2 places in, and there was this really nice unit and that's right on the border. So it still feels like, but technically it's on the inside. I guess you could kind of see that because there's parking over there. Ooh. But, but I have only opened up my doors 2 times prior to this party we had. Those 2 prior times happened during COVID when I was scared to death that I wouldn't see friends or family. So I opened up my doors to very close friends one time. And when I say close friends, like the invite went out to like 5 people. Leslie, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other time is, again, and when I say during COVID, it was more like post-COVID, but, COVID felt and it dragged for longer than it probably should have in terms of separate. Anyways, second time was when my family came in town, and my little cousin, my baby cousin, who just got signed to, I think, the XFL recently. Shout out to Robert Cooper, but this was when he was still in school at FSU. And, we would watch the games. I'm not really into sports like that, but of course I support my family. So we would watch his games on the cable. And I hosted a game party just for my blood family, my 3 cousins. 2 of them brought their significant others, and my mom came, and my niece and nephew. Of course, my brother. And so it was just blood family. And we sat there, we watched the game. I had my brother's wife who caters some food. And, it was a good time. We supported him virtually. My niece and nephew made like a poster board as if they were at the game. And, I captured some video. My mom captured some video and pics and stuff of them cheering Robert and FSU on. So those were the only 2 events that I did prior to this one. And this was at least 3 years ago for the last one. So, I don't usually open my house up like that, especially to like my friend group, even though I love my friend group. It's become vast since COVID. I've got friends now from church and stuff in there. So, but I ended up opening my doors due to a kind of low key bet from one of my friends who's also like a personal trainer. So there was a period when I lost my job that happened last year. Actually, I was unemployed for quite some time, but longer than I thought I would be. About 14 months, I may be guessing right now, but it was more than a year. And I was still, working out with him at the onset of the unemployment. And he told me like, Lester, we've never seen your place. And in this particular friend group, like they've all hosted Galentine's or, end of year Christmas gatherings and things like that. Like this is a group of people, my old church group members that come together, and we're huge on community and fellowship. So it's like everybody had hosted something at their house. I've been to everybody's house in that friend group except, and none of them have been over mine. So he was just like, so if the bet was basically, if you get a job, you have to host something at your house. And I was just like, sure. And at that time, I thought I would be employed within a few months. So I was real cocky with it, like, yeah, sure. Then a year goes by and still nothing. But, I kept to the bet and, got the house cleaned professionally. I hired some cleaners and we had a good time last weekend, but that was before our first recording. So, but I want to throw that out there as one of the happenings, but in unofficial happenings. So that doesn't count. All right. Number 1. I did a...
Hold on. Wait, just wind it back.
Rewind.
So this was your first party?
First official party, yes, because the small one that we did during COVID, that was unofficial and probably shouldn't have happened. But we went on ahead. The deal was very small. And then my mom's one. So those were like unofficial this was the first official friend gathering at my house, yes.
Okay. Okay. Because then I had my first one.
Yes, you did. Yeah. How was yours?
It was pretty dope. It was great. I think I may have done too much, which now I know.
Me too.
That I could have scaled a whole lot back.
Yeah, I had a lot of leftover food.
Yeah, I mean, I had the right amount of food left over.
Just for you.
Yeah, just for me. But I just feel, like as far as other things, like worrying about like decorations, and then I had to make
you decorate the place?
Well, not really, because I bought things to decorate, and I just didn't.
Get a hit of that paralysis.
Yep. Yep. And so,
what am I going to do with $50 worth of?
Yeah, I bought like a cupcake
streamers and
really stupid. Really stupid. I bought like a cupcake tier thing. I was thinking about busting out like the whole chocolate fountain and everything.
You bought a chocolate fountain?
I bought. Okay, so this was a past purchase.
Okay.
Because for the same stupid reason. And I was like, wait, I can bust out the chocolate fountain. And I was like, thinking that I was gonna like have this whole like dessert thing. This is where the paralysis came in.
Okay.
Because like I'm thinking that I'm gonna have all of this stuff, and I'm trying to go through logistics as to like how I should do it. And by the time that it's a little too soon for me to start, creating all these visions that I had in my head. Oh, I gotta go shopping for stuff. And then I'm like, wait a second, I'm spending way too much money, panicking on buying things, but I do it anyway. And then it gets to the point where like, oh, well, I don't have enough time to do it, so I gotta pick my battles.
Right.
And all I did was I used the balloons from my 40th birthday. That my brother sent back to me, like in the little Ziploc bag. They're all deflated. Okay. And I just taped it on the wall over my fireplace. That was direct decorations.
My goodness.
I just taped up.
Deflated balloons. It's so creative. It's so creative. Everybody's so creative.
Yeah, everybody's so creative.
Well, we're laughing at it, but this is an audible podcast, so they can't actually see the surroundings yet. But you've done quite a few things to this house where it's like, in my opinion, decorated already, arguably party ready. Anyway, really? Yeah, because you got the pictures around. My artwork. You painted this cool design around some of these walls, and then of course it's got natural aesthetics because some of these walls are exposed brick, and it's painted. Of course, the fireplace, like this, you got the right mix of like natural aesthetics plus your own like Leslie Flair kind of added to it. So, but again, the underlying thing being that ADHD paralysis, I learned the word today. The way that was at ADHD.org, the way that they ADD.org, the way that they describe this ADHD paralysis, it translates to me like procrastination, right? That feeling of like it feels like the same symptoms. So it's interesting to learn that word and hear I wonder if maybe that's what they would label procrastination. That's what it actually is. It's ADHD
I think it's like, paralysis. I think procrastination is the result, the ADHD paralysis, because it doesn't feel like procrastination because we're working something out in our brains, and then we just get I just get overwhelmed at times. And then I'm like, okay, I just need to phone.
That's the same thing with me too. And then what's worse with me, I don't know about you, I have like games on my phone.
Oh God, yes.
That, trick you into paying sometimes when you want to like win the game. Like, note, you need one more block, just $1.99 for this block, or you could just lose the whole tournament. I don't it's shit like that. I know it's terrible.
Yes, it's really bad. But like for me,
I got rid of it when I was unemployed, but now that I'm employed again.
Don't do it. I downloaded it back. Just play the game and don't pay. Take your payment info off of there or whatever.
I'm gonna send this recorded to my therapist. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, like, words with friends, that's the streets.
I love words with friends.
That is the streets. Maybe it's just, I'm telling you, it's dangerous out there.
Oh, this middle-aged shit.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis. But I'm sorry, did I interrupt? Were you?
No,
Okay.
I think I might have interrupted you.
So the three things, because I feel like I went off
But
on
this
a
is
tangent.
parallel. This is where we parallel.
Yes. Anytime there's a parallel, I want to make sure I call it out. But that paralysis is terrible. And I feel like I've dealt with that myself for quite some time as well. But so one of the things I did this week on Wednesday, I did like a kind of like a small video shoot, which I haven't done one since COVID. And when I say COVID, this was the heart of COVID. I hope I don't I shouldn't get in any trouble. Damn it. That was my place. It was only three of us. During COVID, probably, like I said, towards the end of it, because I feel like we had really strict guides in the heart of it. But like, when was this? This was a time when, gosh, was it 20? I know it was 2020. And I'm trying to think, was it fall or maybe spring of 2021?
I think it was later.
Wait, not 2020. Anyways, right after COVID, I shot a music video for one of my songs, Sweet Isolation.
Yeah, and that was later.
Yeah, I was a
lot happened
during that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was later. But what I do remember is they still kind of had the restrictions around like how many people should be gathered in the area. Right. And then, of course, the 6 feet. I shot that video at my home, the same one that I just hosted the thing at. And the whole talk about crew, the people that was there involved in the video, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4 total. And that includes me, the videographer, the producer of this track, the leading lady of the video, who's now passed away. Rest in peace, Shanti, and myself. It was 4.
That was a beautiful video.
Yeah. So, which is out on YouTube right now. So check this, Google YouTube Lester J Sweet Isolation. It's a very intentional video. We'll get into, maybe we'll have an episode where we talk about like different pieces of art that we've worked on or created that we're really proud of. But it's been years since I've shot original music content, and I did that on Wednesday. And being a little bit, I'm gonna be 40 in November, and I remember there was a time where I had like, musical friends, and we always talk about like what the timeline would look like for doing this.
Yeah.
And I remember, I want to say with one of my old friends who I'm not friends with anymore, so I'm not going to mention the name. They can kick rocks with open shoes, but we used to kind of give ourselves a timeline. I think of like 30 or 35, where it's like, after that, we're calling it quits. This is how I know that I absolutely love the music art, because now in my 30s, even beyond, I recognize this as a gift from God. And I'm just like, I don't ever want to just cut it off myself. Like, you're going to have to pry this thing away from me. So I'll be making art forever until forever. But so it's been a while, but I did this shoot and felt really good. The team there, JD Visuals, it was a concept piece called Room 33. You guys can check that out on Instagram. Room 33_25, I think, is the handle. I shot that, and that was, like I said, a lot of fun. There was a very supportive, but small group. This team called JD Visuals, they do audio, they do like music videos or any type of visual content. They built this studio themselves out of like this storefront space. And I remember them building it a little bit after COVID, painting it and, building different things. It's not a huge space, but they utilize every inch of it, where they've done like 3 or 4 different I'm calling it art pieces or concepts in that space that they own. Room 33 is one. They've got another one called Chevelle Music where, it's pretty much the same concept, but you're like performing near this really cool throwback car. Of course, like I said, they've shot music videos in there and stuff. So JD Visuals is that group, and that was really cool. Thing number 2, gig in Milwaukee. I gigged in Milwaukee this weekend with Blue Water Kings. That was cool. They have called for me to lead a few of these gigs, and that comes with its own challenges, but it's also more money. So, of course, I'll never say no. And that was cool. I think the only thing that's a little weird is, every time I go to Wisconsin, there's a certain air there, a certain political air.
Oh, does it smell a little red?
It smells a little red. And it's a little
crimson.
Yeah. So it was this really weird thing that happened.
It smells a little wrong.
Yeah. Where, someone was pulled to talk about politics in Milwaukee. Again, this is actually not at all related to the gig itself or the venue. It's just being in the space in Milwaukee. Somebody was pulled that looked like, I guess someone who was a local thought that somebody was a part of a red political leaning group and kind of just pulled them in and started talking about, red stuff. And it was almost like a community event. No, it wasn't me, but it was somebody who I knew that, they saw them and they looked the part.
Oh!
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, what?
Have you ever experienced that where you're out with friends and maybe you're in like a suburb or,
so here's my version of that.
Uh-huh.
In the key of, you're one of the good ones.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I guess I'm like the approachable Black.
Let's talk about it.
Oh God. Yeah. So back, I guess reflecting is a lot of times I have been in a lot of white spaces, and I've been in a lot of spaces where, most of my friends were white. And a lot of times, I was not allowed to, this sounds so clinical. I was not allowed to participate into anything that, was adjacent to Black culture other than the Black excellence part.
Right. Which you mentioned somewhere in the first
I remember
pilot episode
type of culture. I always wanted to be one of those ones that lived in Hyde Park and got those good educations, but I was really good at college. Anyway, that's a different story, but that was the type of Blackness that my upbringing, encouraged and inspired us to be like, or inspired me to be like, because, it's funny because I know that my brothers and sisters had different versions of my parents.
Right.
And different versions.
Because you're the youngest.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of my mom and dad and my uncles and aunties and even my grandparents, they were already established.
Mm-hmm.
And my siblings were born during the time of establishment.
Google it, people.
Yeah, they think that my sister was born on disestablished, at the ground zero, blueprint, draft. So yeah, I know that my brothers and sisters have different versions of my parents than I do, but the version of my parents was the one that made me focus on some type of Black excellence, if it was Black. Anything else, though, rap music, Martin.
You missed out on so much. Not crisscross.
Yeah, because they were cute and any of those things. I think I got away with watching Sister, but I think I was allowed to watch MTV or when I was 13, and the only concert that my mom was really excited about. That's as far as it's gonna go. As far as the only concert that my mom was excited about me going was the Backstreet Boys. Because like obviously Christian background, right? She thought that when I played, I forgot what song it was to play, but I remember I strategically chose a song that she would approve of.
That was more Christian leaning.
And not even. Like, she's the one I'm like, oh yeah, they believe in God. Yeah.
I wonder what song that would have been.
I remember. I wish I remembered. But
I've never bought a full album of theirs, but I've only, the singles and stuff. But I know in the R&B world, at the time that we were like in high school, which would have been Backstreet Boys era or like, middle school, the R&B folks like Destiny's Child or whoever, they were always in their albums with like a gospel song cover. So I don't know if they were that type of band, probably not.
I don't think so.
Because they were assimilating black music. But yeah.
More like stealing, but yeah.
So I wondered if they take it the whole gander and follow the R&B format.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that because I would have remembered that.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I'm like, what is this old gospel?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty...
Or hymns in there.
They do sing those songs. They do sing those songs whenever there's like an event or something. They'll do whatever they
something
do.
Christian leaning.
Yeah. They know who their audience is. They got to get their money.
Yeah.
But like... Even like, and I'm wondering if that had anything to do to shape with the type of music that I listened to, because I was only allowed to listen to one type of music.
Right.
The non-threatening kind, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though like Slipknot was pretty dope. That's my parents' fault.
Yeah. Do you think that it was more so because of less about, secular versus Christian and more about white versus or white passing music versus black music?
I think it was more of the fact that the further away from the black stereotype I was, the safer I was as far as survival.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was, if they just see white, then they just really don't really look at it unless it's like
white is safe, black is questionable.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that really planted a bad seed in me, especially when it came down to learning about Black history and wanting to even care about anything Black if it was already like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want me to talk to these kids at church. They don't want me to engage in the things that these kids that I went to school with engaged in. You didn't want me to engage in Black culture, so why should I care about Black causes?
Yeah.
And like that's because I'm just like, I'm so sad about the fact that all that time when I was young and exposed to that type of excellence as far as like historically, the inventions, the causes, like Malcolm X, like that is my hero for real. And I'm like, for the longest time, I was taught that he was militant and he was dangerous. And I was just
and
like,
some of that stuff is true, but context is important.
Very much so.
When you're in the lion's den, when you're facing a bear, there's certain things that they tell you, you have to respond to that kind of stuff. And with some of those forces, you have to respond in like or bigger. I know where I think black bears it is they say
something
you have to
like that. You gotta make yourself
look bigger than, yeah. So, I mean, say that to say that context, I feel like is the root of evil in that particular case. Cause what folks will tend to do is shape scenarios to fit a narrative. So for instance, Malcolm X, aggressive, whether it's like, okay, so, but what environment was he living in? What time, what time
it's the extreme
in history
survival.
Was he working in where he had to operate that way to get results?
Right. When you have someone bombing that is just like saying, oh, if someone has a knife to your throat, just
give them a hug.
Just show them love. just let them, pretty much. You know what I'm
Not to
saying?
even go down
It's
a rabbit.
not understanding that survival is an instinct.
Right.
Trying to stay alive is an instinct. And it's just like, if you're not trying to go out and hurt anyone, then you're acting out of provocation. So, but anyway, like that, like the whole assimilationist thing and like things that I've learned and whatnot, it's just like, once again, we're going through a period of unlearning.
Right. That we're yet and still experiencing.
And like the best thing to do is, for me, that I'm seeing as far as making up for time, is to just get reacquainted with the things that I should have learned. And if there's something I'm getting mad at, the fact that I didn't learn it, I can go learn it.
Yeah.
I can just go do it.
That's right. Speaking of unlearning, third point, 3 things since our last recording. As you guys know, we're getting close to Halloween, so there's a few scary movies out. There's been one that I've been seeing a buzz on social media, particularly from friends or social media friends who are into horror, into that genre. The Conjuring, the one that just came out, it's in theaters now, and probably by the time this gets released, it'll be on stream somewhere. But the new Conjuring movie, I remember watching the very first one that came out in 2013, which is over a decade ago, if you think about it. The series has been going on forever. But yeah, the first one came out in 2013. I remember I was working in Woodridge, Illinois at Allstate at a call center, and I went there with a friend. Shout out to Ashley.
Ashley.
Mm-hmm. But we were both working there, and we went right after work. And I remember that movie being so scary. It's, spiritual movie, having to deal with demons and religion. And as you know, I could watch a good slasher film. I could watch silly horror or, maybe psychological horror. I could watch some of the gory stuff like the Saws, right? And it not be too much of I don't, carry it with me much after, watching it. You just, almost like a roller coaster, you get your thrill and you're out of there. But when it comes to spiritual horrors that have to deal with spirits, demons, religion, anything like that, my fear gets activated. Part of that coming from growing up, like we couldn't, my dad really didn't like us watching anything that wasn't Christian based in the household, which includes music, which includes concerts, which includes, just cartoons. I remember he forbade us at one point to watch Family Guy because he had saw a clip of something on Family Guy and was like, nope, this is an adult cartoon. You can't watch it.
Yeah, I won't anymore.
Family Guy, South Park, stuff like that. We can watch that. But he had an extra layer of forbadeness, for lack of a better word. He had an extra layer of stay away from anything horror based because of our, Christian faith. The thought is that if you watch that stuff, you allow it into your spirit and, you give it room to manifest itself in some sort of way. And how that manifests when you're telling a child that is like, oh, it shows up in dreams. It shows up in fear. It creates these images and things that you wouldn't have thought of and tries to make them real just based off of it being balanced from the other part, which is God. So I've been, wrestling with that this week, like the whole idea of, I don't know if this makes sense, but the idea that I've been wrestling with is that, like, I would love to be in a place just like with the other subgenres of horror, the slashers and stuff, where I could just watch it.
Like, I just want to sit with the demons.
And leave it where it's at. Right. Don't bring it. I don't want to bring it home. I don't want to dream about it.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I just want to see it, enjoy
the
it.
trap house,
It's like I said, going on the roller coaster. It's like, I want to experience the roller coaster.
I don't want to die.
Yeah, I don't want to die. I don't want to.
I want to be thrown and spun in the air like, 60-foot parameter loops.
Right. Which, by the way, I don't like roller coasters either.
Yeah, I don't.
But, the intention behind the roller coaster is like just getting instant thrill that you can survive and enjoy almost dying and go back to your home. So I would like to be in a place where I could experience that without bringing it home. And then the thought is also that, well, if you put yourself in a position where you don't believe these things that you were taught about, religion or about the devil, then could this possibly shake your faith and your beliefs in God? So it's just something that's been on my mind this week about just in general, like The Conjuring and me seeing the content that people have been putting up like, oh, it's about to be a good movie. I can't wait to see it. And then talk about the other iterations of it. I've only saw the one and they've had like 16. I'm over exaggerating, but they've had a lot of versions and sequels and things of the Conjuring universe, I think is the terminology they use for it. And I wish I could enjoy it as well without bringing it home.
That should be a good topic on its own to dissect, because I think right now
religion.
Well,
in the church.
Yeah, well, that and the fact that like there are some things that are preventing us from enjoying things that we think that we would enjoy because of a deep rooted and brain, like there's something that is in us that has been ingrained in us so deep to the point that is hindering us from doing or experiencing things that we want to do that aren't harmful, but it's just that, maybe it's either
not physically,
but not physically.
Because right now we're talking about like, it's all mental.
Right. So in that point, if it's not going to hurt you physically, then okay, you're good there. But then there's another issue that like it came to me where it's like, well, maybe that means that there needs to be some more reinforcement on the other side. If you feel like you're going to bring something back and fall because of something that's fake, or that's something, that you enjoy as an art form or something that's just not going to really hurt you, you need to get to a point where you won't let it. If it's something that's really paining you that you really want to experience.
Yeah. So and I'm not there. Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, like I can go without seeing the stuff, but it's like, y'all are enjoying this movie and I want a thrill rush. I just don't want that thrill to follow me the fuck home.
Yeah. Yeah. So there needs to be some security that's built within your faith in order for you to be able to do that. Because otherwise, maybe it's like you're not at a point where you can't handle it. But that means that it gives you an opportunity to build on another area in your life.
I'm sending this episode to my therapist. We're going to work on this shit.
Yeah. But we're at 58.
Okay. Well, there's one other quick thing that we want. Was there any learnings?
Yeah. Well, I guess we did.
Did we go through the learnings?
No, we didn't go through the learnings, but I guess we can just apply that to what we learned, maybe.
Well, I was going to say the learning I got from the, horror film Conjuring thing is that I have work to do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The lesson could be that is, okay. Let me just leave it alone.
Right.
That is the lesson.
That's the lesson for me. Did you get a lesson out of your 3 things?
The lesson is learning what I'm dealing with as far as putting a label on some things so that I can better understand how to function. Now that I'm aware of my behavior, I can probably catch myself a little bit sooner when probably going into a hole as far as like thinking too much about things that probably don't really need much thought. Because like maybe the first plan I come up with is the good plan. And I shouldn't like second guess and just be afraid to fail if it does.
That's right.
The point is just to get something going.
Overthinking is definitely a thing. I'll throw this out too before we close. Is on that note, in terms of like overthinking, I don't know if the folks out there realize, whoever ends up listening to this, we initially started to pilot this a year ago, literally.
Yeah.
And
to the day,
obviously, and it was, a lot of life things that happened, but literally, like, I think we're both on that same plane because, having this idea of perfectionism and then having that ADHD paralysis kick in. It's like, you want this thing to go out and you want it to be spick and span perfect, and you want everything to be so well polished, and then you get so overwhelmed with all the ways that you can do that and what you should do in terms of the legwork that you just ends up getting, shelved and collecting dust. So, but we're doing it now. Sometimes you literally have to just jump out there
and let yourself stumble.
If that happens, because you can end up hitting it, and it's great. You just have to literally do it.
Yep.
That's the part. Just do it, and everything else will come into alignment. So, well, guys, we're getting ready to sign off. It's late here. So, as we said last time, this is your favorite, hopefully soon to be Uncle and Auntie.
It's Leslie BB. Oh, wait. But we ain't claiming y'all.
It's my favorite line. Y'all have a good one. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.